welcome to one of the last panels of today. I think this panel will be interesting for everyone who is studying right now, whether in Lithuania or abroad, but maybe thinking of expanding their horizons and doing some online learning, whether for free on some platforms, whether on the paid service in some quite famous world universities who are accepting online studies, online students. So today we're going to discuss about future for online learning, about the differences between brick and mortar universities and online universities. And let me introduce my panelists for this evening. Entrepreneur, investor, TED patron, Mr. Vladas Lašas. Hello. Also, Chief Information Officer from Vilnius Gediminas Technical University, Ms. Eglė Radvilė. Hello, Eglė. Director of the Center of Information Technologies in Education, Ministry of Science and Education, Vainas Brazdeikis. And Director of the Engineering Area of UTAD University from Spain, Juan Coro. Nice to have you here, Juan. And also, we have an online student on the panel as well. That would be me. I'm right now enrolled in the online master's degree for political science in Freie University of Berlin. So I can also have some of my thoughts how I'm doing, and I'm not doing extremely well actually after the results of my last session, but I'm still there. Okay, let's start about maybe Mr. Coro. Let's start from you. The current trends, how the online learning is developing in Europe, around the world, in academia. What are overall trends in this field?
Well,
No, it should be. No, one moment.
Now
it's working.
Now
okay. You're not mute now.
That's a huge question in order to start a panel about big trends on digital or online education in the academia. What we can see if we observe what is going on, we see a huge hype on massive open online courses. We see that they are spreading out. We don't see exactly what is going to deliver those kind of approach. We see many big universities going to those kind of online activities, 1,000, 100,000 students enrolling in one single course is amazing, and there are things there which are really interesting, but something that is for short terms or not very specific. There are some other MOOCs which can deliver a bit more, but what we see is the big, wide and open online education is going for general education. For example, in Spain, the biggest massive open online course which has been taking place now is English class. Mm-hmm. This is the first one. 10 times more than the second. Is what we see there. There are other good platforms which are delivering pills, knowledge pills, where you can have your nano degree following several pills, and after that you get some competences there, and that's working fairly well. But in our viewpoint, the very difficult, and we don't see many universities delivering in that sense, is very high class higher education delivered by online services or online education. We don't see Harvard or the MIT delivering their top graduates or the top master degrees online. And that's something very tricky. We are a university focused on digital economy. So we have engineering, we have arts, we have game design and business administration. And for example, in arts, we are struggling ourselves thinking about how to deliver those artistic experiences you have in the classroom or within the class or with your professor in the full online services. Blended education where you go to the class and after that you have some online activities is good, but very high grade university education in online is still difficult to deliver. Not to say, and that will be my opening statement.
Okay.
That's fine
okay.
You.
So you have some reservations on online studying. Eglė, what's your opinion as a representative of a Lithuanian university?
My opinion is something It's okay?
Yep, now it's good.
Sorry. Opinion is not my only opinion, and it's not just Vilnius Gediminas Technical, because we have a consortium, it's like group of universities working in the same field, this distance learning. And as a VGTU, so the biggest part of that, we have about 6% of all students just doing this distance learning. But as we are engineering university, we have a lot of problems. For example, building bridges. Okay, so engineering courses for distance learning is a little bit difficult. Physics, chemist, aviation. So I think nobody wants to fly with the plane with pilot for distance learning and so on. So as we have that kind of problem, now we are doing some steps with ministry that to create some special labs for distance learning, that if I'm sitting at home or somewhere, I can just switch to a special lab to do some distance movements with robots and somehow to improve that I'm engineering. So it's coming, and our university is very specific for business or for information technology. It's not so important to be in the classroom or to be online. It's more or less the same. But as engineering profile, it's difficult.
But who are your target? Who are your students? Are they Lithuanians? Are they Lithuanians from smaller towns who are maybe unable or unwilling to live in Vilnius and study in classrooms? Or are they foreigners?
Strategical, we have foreign target is foreign students and Lithuanian students. It's strategical, and normal is 90% of all students, they are living here, and mostly in Vilnius or in Kaunas. But for distance learning, I was doing my homework today, and it's about 0.5%. It's half, 50% of they are living everywhere.
Okay.
They are Lithuanian, but they are in Norway or somewhere. So they need to have some possibilities to learn distance learning, engineering distance learning.
Mr. Lašas, how do you see especially if we are talking about IT skills, which is very relevant to this conference, how do you rate the advent of the online learning, that the more and more traditional universities, as Mr. Koro said, Harvard and MIT and even Oxford and Cambridge universities have their own already departments for online learning. Do you see it as what? As a threat to traditional universities, as an opportunity for students to reach out to almost every part of the world?
Hello.
Let me just, yeah.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Andres. And my first question, answer your question is there anybody who is not studying anything these days, not learning something today? Is there anybody? Raise your hands, please.
Who already knows everything? Okay, one person.
So, one person. Sorry to say, but if you stop learning, if you stop studying, so you are old. And that's the paradigm of our time, that you need to work on learning, studying every day, and online studying is a huge opportunity to deal with that. And it's opportunity to educational institutions and even educational startups. I remember discussion with Udacity founder from Stanford, Sebastian Thrun. I met him at TED conference, and he said, I used to be professor. I deliver lectures like it was 100 years ago. I just meet 20, 50 people in the audience. I talk to them, but it's the same way that I'm feeling that I am wasting my time somehow, because I could do that 10, 100 times more during that time. I just, with my friend, we started to create online courses in my garage. It was not under Stanford, and that was huge. He was shocked about the response to that. There was signing like more than 100,000 people. Finally, of course, graduated like few percent of that, but that was still almost 100 times more than this brilliant professor could deliver working in his environment at the university. Of course, that is not panacea helping everything. Just, it depends on yourself. You need to study and you need to be motivated to study that. And I feel for IT, like you asking about the business and IT. Just 2 weeks ago, I was just to pick some documents. I came like 8:30 in the evening at the office, and I saw my colleague, IT guy, sitting in the office, and he said, I'm studying one new thing on online course, and that is very good for me. I like that. It wasn't anything from the direct need of our company, but that was self-education. He was interested about that, and he was studying. So that's big threat to the universities, and of course opportunity as well. As this morning, professor from Stockholm School of Economics, Nordstrom, said that I saw many awards like this, Swedish awards, and I see one thing, that usually people getting these awards have no formal university degree.
Right.
And that is something to think. So online we need to develop ourselves, not necessarily to get any university formal diploma.
Okay. Right. I think we need to clear some things here, that we of course will be talking about online learning as a whole, but there are two different parts. You can take just a course or two delivered by the university just for a certificate. Like, for example, I had a chat with the Nobel winner of Economics Prize, Mr. Robert Shiller, just last year, and he was a professor at Yale, and he had like 150,000 people, I think, enrolled in his courses. So this is what you said. And also there are a quite formal education, online education delivered by the universities, where do you receive a full degree. So I would like to ask Mr. Brezdeikis about the online education as a trend. Again, how can it be incorporated into the traditional curriculum? Can it be expanded on traditional curriculum, that the student in Vilnius University or Vilnius Gediminas Technical University could also had a course in MIT, let's say, if he has the means? What's your opinion?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you for your question. And I hope that it is possible to do some switch from one part, like from traditional way to online. But to the other hand, we need to look at what it is MOOCs, what it is online courses. I think it's more courses for some internationalization of education. I mean that in this case is some moving knowledge from one part to another part in one case. To other case it's some like education, it's not more, how to say, formal, it's more non-formal education. It means that it's more like for everybody who want to do something, to know something. I think it's some differences between traditional universities and how to say, online universities. And in this case, I am not sure it will be some like switch from one to another, or will be some new universities, or maybe will be some consortium of universities. We need to check in detail, because it's some different goals. In traditional universities, some like more academic research, more academic studies. In online courses, it's more practical and more some like international. And we need to check in this case, it's possible or no. But anyway, of course, it's some new trend, and we need be quite, how to say, to look what happened. And maybe sometime, maybe you need to move forward. But I don't know how Egle with university, they are moving to online, but I'm not sure that they will be so quickly as some like a British online university, etc.
Egle?
The main, it's not problem, it's question is that online courses is divided in 3 parts. One part is technological, so it's a tool what we are using, and touchpad and digital 3D and so on. Other part is students that they want to learn like that and to understand all this technology. And third is lectures. They have to be in some level of technology and on some level of understanding new life and new culture. So these 3 parts, if we want just to do something like online courses, so we need 3 parts. And it should be in the same level. So answering is yes, we are moving, and maybe this move not so quick just because we have to teach all these 3 things.
Juan, what's your opinion about the online learning? Will it become, can it become, or should it become a competitive threat to the traditional universities?
It depends on the age. I don't see 18 years old, 20 years old people, students really engaging in online education as a whole, because there's something about the university experience. Those years you spend on the class with your classmates, those are important years for you. And unless you cannot join the formal university, there should be an involvement in the higher education. So you will need to go to a campus maybe 1 day, 4 days, or the whole week long. But I don't see really the first step in the university will be the mainstream will be physically, because you need partners, you need colleagues, you need girls. When you are 18 years old, you are thinking on what you are thinking, and apart from that, you learn mathematics or whatever. But and I think that will be still the same, because that's what we look for. But after that, the online learning, which is something we will join and not quit, otherwise we will get old, as you said before. For that, online will sure help us. And there's one thing we will see for sure in traditional university, we will digitalize a lot, and we will digitalize a lot our offer, because there are some trends there that are very, very interesting, like, for example, learning analytics. Everyone learns in a different way. Not everyone in a different, but there are lots of ways of learning. People who prefer study very soon in the day, very late, prefer someone who prefer first the theoretical and after the practical, or other way around. So we can do those things and customize almost in a one-by-one case through learning analytics. And that will be something that all universities, no matter online, offline, or mixed, will help, because this is a huge advantage for the education process.
Mr. Brasdeikis, what about, we talked about some different kind of learning, but there are also a different kind of online universities. There are very well-known universities who have only like a small part of a syllabus as online, and that's, I think, okay. What about the universities who are only online? Are these degrees recognized in Lithuania is there some process in the motions, or we are still not talking about this?
Yes, in Lithuania, still it's not, as you mentioned, some online university. Still we have universities who are in traditional way. But to other hand, some universities have some blended learning. It means that some part it's going online as well. But if you will have some diploma from like Berlin University, you will need to recognize this diploma in Lithuania. It means if you will need some official job and we have some agency study qualification. If you want to have some exception, some accreditation, your diploma, you could do as well through university, because some universities have a way to check your diploma. Because you know, if you talking about online courses, main problem is now quality. It's quite big dropout. It's quite big. How to say? It's question how you can be authorized in process of learning. Maybe it's need to check everything. So it's possible now in Lithuania to have some accreditation your diploma, or just how to recognition your diploma, and you will be a formal educator. Now, if from Berlin level, you will be as citizen of Germany with diploma. You know, it's some difference. It's possible.
Okay. Vladas, you wanted to add something?
I just wanted to reflect that in private business with diploma from Berlin, good qualified candidate would get immediately official job, and that's no problem at all. I think we are too much involved in these old rules on the translations, diploma, and everything. Very few things need, very few occasions we need that. Actually, we are stopping young people on this bureaucratic level, and we setting borders where the borders are not available. Like astronauts say that there is no borders on the Earth, and if we create borders on the diploma level and ask that the case recent to translate Cambridge diploma to Lithuania to be qualified for jobs, that's so. I think that online learning is a huge catalyst for the exponential growth in the speed and of education, and cutting down the transaction, the cost of transaction, the education process. It's a solution for the many parts of the education process, although not all solution for all. We need blended education when the people trying, doing, starting early things to do and be involved in active world. Organizations like Junior Achievement, it's part of the, you learn online something being in the school, and then try something to start business even being in the school. I was last Friday at the event in London. The name is The Future of Education, and it's about disruption in education, brought by online learning, brought by Makers Movement, brought by Fab Lab, brought by many things what we need to be in line with changing landscape of knowledge, because we need, and that will happen for sure, our kids will be more intelligent, more knowledgeable than us, and that is happening. But we need to help them with that kind of blended learning to experience as early as possible. And online education, we need to encourage to start studies in the school.
Okay, my question for all the panelists. In Lithuania, maybe Juan will get a Spanish example for us, but we have this issue that we have so many higher education institutions right now, so many universities, so many diplomas, and the people who are hiring young people, they are a little bit at a loss, because everyone now can present, almost everyone can present a well-done Master of Business Administration diploma. Don't you see, on your opinion, that students might turn to the online learning as a way and means to be different from that kind? Mr. Brasdeikis, what's your opinion?
Yes, I agree about number of universities in Lithuania, but it's question politician. It's not I'm not sure how to how university look that. But because just if you look in some similar countries as Lithuania, and it's 3 universities, 4 universities, it's enough. But anyway, it's because it's competition, international competition, because I'm not sure. I don't heard some like small university in some of 100 universities rating something like that. I'm not sure, but maybe it's just, to one hand. To another hand, if you're talking about formal, non-formal, about the degrees, diploma, it's lifelong learning. I mean, it's everybody will be in this process in future, because every time if you want to get some new jobs, you need to new qualification. But to the other hand, employees could ask diploma or not to ask. It's question, maybe employees ask some like Google, ask some test or etc. And I know that some students after first year in university, they left university because for them enough in workplace skills. So it's quite how to say, variety between universities, etc. To my mind, it's well. But to another hand, if you want to get some formal degree represented by Lithuanian, you need to check more detail on quality. Maybe.
Okay, Egle, you probably don't agree with some of my assumptions.
Yeah, but the main position about universities, so if you want to think about your future 4 years or 6 years or 10 years, you have to check in international list of this university ratings, as Vaino said. So, and it's clear. And if you think that it's some part like engineering or informatic technology or something, it's in this university worse than in another, of course you have to check it. So everything is checkable, first of all, and then it's answering that we have 15 universities, and if you are going deeper for some like business administration or buildings, so it's just few universities, so it's getting a little bit smaller, this area. And about diploma, so as I'm learning university more than 10 years, so I'm sure that this diploma is not for for someone, it's for me, so to be sure that I know enough. And of course, if I am going to a few job interviews, so it depends on where I'm going. This maybe it's important thing to check my diploma, or it's enough to do a test here. But I am a citizen, I don't want to go to the building if this building project manager is just online courses, no practice, no diploma, just good enough somewhere. So okay. I'm not sure that rules are too much strict in Lithuania. I'm not sure.
Juan, Spanish example, please.
Yeah, it's not a matter of the number of universities, because this is something manageable. You can have one huge university, or you can or you can have 5. It depends on the unit cost you have for that and the number of high education students you have enrolled. You don't care that much if it's 3, 4, 15. That's not a huge issue. As far as the cost, the unit cost for delivering that is good enough, and as far that you have the critical mass to do research, which is another topic that the university needs to focus on, for me it's fine. I don't care if it's 1, 3, those things happen. Don't care much. About the bureaucracy, it's important as a label for the students, because we went wider. I remember when I was at the university, all this Bologna process came up. I was the president of the student union at the university. We strike against that. It was terrible. And after that, we were very happy about that. That's things happen when you are too young and you are and you do those things you are against and pro at the same day on the morning or the afternoon. But what we have done is we have built in a very complex way, a space of 500 million people being able to recognize mutually what you study and what I don't. When I don't know the Lithuanian university, I have heard that Technological Kaunas University is very good, and there is another one. But I don't need, as a Spaniard, to be taking care of that detail, because there is a common trust recognition process. There is a quality assurance agency here in Lithuania, and if it's passed, I feel that that's fine, and they are linked together to deliver higher and higher quality on a year-by-year basis. And that's the reason why we need bureaucracy, because we need to mutually recognize, so you can jump from one country to another country with your degree. And the second thing, because those labels are important for the students to decide whether to go. Because if I see the label in Germany, which is approved by the Quality Assurance Higher Education Agency in Germany, I feel comfortable. It's like the CE mark in our products. If it's the CE mark in the product in the supermarket, I see that it's good enough for me to buy it. And it's the same. So those things are the price of complexity. We built this humongous process of building up the whole education system in Europe, and it has its pros, which are huge, and its pace that someone has to face those.
But Juan, do you see, you already said that maybe the first degree, the bachelor degree, may still remain strongly in brick and mortar universities because of the student life. What about second degree? What about a master's degree? Or the lifelong learning? Will it become the major player in Spain, for example, the online learning?
In my humble opinion, there are two differences. When you need a speed, and you need, sometimes in education you decide between two factors. One is time, and the other one is money. Many times you can learn by yourself things, and you do that. And when you are young and you have no money, you spend more time to learn things. But when you go older and you get less time, you pay for money to speed up. So if you want to really speed up your process, you will join the university at high speed, and that will be probably in master degrees, a full every week, 5 days a week, full master. And in that sense, if you want really high speed, you will go brick and mortar. But for those who is more midterm, that you are still working in an executive approach, Friday, Saturday, or that, in that place, probably online education pays a lot of advantages, because you can do it on your schedule, on your time, and the only thing we'll deliver in my humble opinion, about online education will be when you pay for contacts instead of for knowledge. There are some MBAs, which the important thing is people you know there, not what you learn there. In those cases, brick and mortar will still be very and most important. But for executive education, thinking about knowledge, I'm thinking about deep practice, for example, coding or other things you have to practice a lot. Online education makes fully sense, and I think it will be delivered.
Okay, maybe I'll have some few minutes to share my online learning experience with the public as well. I wanted to do a Master of Politics, but I sincerely felt that in Lithuania there isn't much to offer to me, as not being my age right now, I mean. So I checked about maybe 200 online universities, all styles. Some were too expensive for me. Some required a long campus stay. Some were only online and pretty dodgy. So, which I said, we'll give you a master's diploma in 2 months, and you'll be the best master in the world. So that's not so good. Okay, and so I tried to find a well-known university with a hybrid learning. So basically. What I did, I found the Free University of Berlin, which is very well-known university in Germany, and I have to spend 2 weeks in Berlin for my classes, to get in touch with my lecturers, with my professors, with my contacts, with my classmates, and everything we do it online on special online learning program through the various video transformances, video programs, through learning from a huge library, and so on and so on. And there are 2 years learning course, so full master. The best thing, actually, I would agree 100%, that would be a networking, because my course consists of people from 25 different countries, including such countries as Uganda and Canada and Finland and so on and so on. But also, my biggest, most likely shock after successfully getting the bachelor's degree in Lithuania, oh my God, how hard it is to study in German university. I mean, it was like totally different experience, with a lot of reading, a lot of tasks, and module coming each after each, and even my classmates they started to dropping out to part-time, because you can change and from 2 years to 4 years experience and get your master in 4 years if you feel that you are unable to make do with your work and with your family life. So basically, I think that's one of the possibilities for people who want to do the online lifelong learning, because I felt that I might be one of the oldest students, but I am one of the youngest students, and I really do admire my course mate. My classmate is a lawyer. He's a 72 years old lawyer from Kentucky, United States, who I ask you, why do you need a politics, especially the European politics? He says, just for myself. And he twice a year comes from Kentucky to spend a week in Berlin, and he learns and he mingles so I think, yeah, that's might be one of the draws of the online learning, where you can experience a totally different cultures and so on. But from this short interlude, I would like to again ask maybe a little bit different question, and we are talking about this all the time, maybe when talking about higher education. What about the flexible syllabus? Flexible syllabus where you can take like 75% of your modules or of your degree, let's say in Vilnius, in your university in Spain, and then take one module from Harvard, one module from Berlin, one module from University of Helsinki, which you find particularly interesting for your career, and to create your syllabus like in the way you want to do it. How possible is that? How would be that interesting, and also in the name of accreditation and so on? Mr. Brazdeikis.
Yes, it's possible. It's, our Lithuanian education structure principles that university is autonomy, and university can do what they want, or what is their best. And in this case, it's possible to take some courses like joint degree, etc. By law, it's yes, but it needs some qualification. It needs some networking between universities. Maybe Egle, you have some joint degree.
Yeah, Egle.
Yes. We have a lot of things like that, common degrees, and it's depends of quality of our university and of, for example, Estonia, Tartu, Tallinn, Berlin, Moscow, it's London, so a lot of common program, and it's okay for students. They are going to see some things, and then they can say that, oh my God, it's so hard to to be here and to study in Vilnius or to be in Berlin, and it's nothing from future. It's now. So
But I mean, but you're talking about exchange programs, right?
No. We have common diplomas, and we have common programs. We have like 3 years here and 1 year here, or half a year here and half a year in the foreign. So it's.
But are those double degrees, joint degrees?
Sorry, I'm from IT sector, but as I'm from IT sector, I should administrate all this.
No.
So yes, we have a double diploma. We have one diploma from 2 universities, and so on. It's about 9 different possibilities to choose. Why you don't know that? For sure, because it's not very, very popular.
Why not?
Because a lot of people, you said that it's when you are master, you have to save your time. Yes, I agree, but digital statistics like 90% of the distance learning is in bachelor studies. So bachelor, so it's something different. So, but why it's not popular? I think that people who want to study university, they need some to have their own way to do here live here or in other country, and they do not want to move each at a time. If they want to move, they choose Erasmus.
Okay.
Or just our ideas. I know it.
Not
I
really.
know that some students like to finish like bachelor in some Gediminas technical and to move to some like a foreign country, to some Copenhagen and some other university on master degree. It's some like as well some possibilities. And Erasmus as well. It's,
Yeah, but about maybe Juan, a question for you. I don't know, but I think it should be in all the countries where all the students usually complain that, you know, I take this degree, let's say economics, politics, whatever. Okay, there are like 4 very interesting modules, like 3 okay modules and 3 modules which I really hate. So I would like just to take them out and maybe bring it something of my own, which is of really interested to me from the university that I know it's and so on, and during online learning without going to that university. Is that possible? Is it interesting? Is it?
Yeah, that was one of the pillars of the European higher education area. We changed the way we measure education to one common credit system, which is ECTS, which is European Credit Transfer System, which is something you are adding on top of your curricula. So if I go abroad to another university which recognize and is qualified by a quality assurance agency, I came back to Spain, and that is in my curricula with no problem, mutual recognition addition. So that is happening now. You can do that now, no problem at all. Things which arise when you go that direction in flexible modules. There's a limit within a bachelor where you can do those things, because if you are going to be you are going to be an engineer building bridges, it's good that you have all the building blocks which are designed to be able to build bridges, and you cannot have you cannot design by yourself the way bridges are built. That's something that cannot be done, and that's common widely. So the more complex you go, the more building blocks you need to know to get to a certain point, the less likely to be worthy to go for a personalized, customized curriculum syllabus. That's something. If it's very complex and you are very young, or you don't have the expertise, you have to follow the path others have designed from their deep knowledge on the matter. Okay. But for small things or small parts of your career, now it is happening. Now it is happening, and it's the way we should go forward.
You actually wanted to add something?
We had yesterday discussion about why Scandinavian and German universities are not so popular for this double program, and as understood, we do not have permission to talk about the problems here, because it's not a conference like that.
This is a policy of switch, right? Oh, nobody told me, I'm sorry.
No, okay, so the problem is really that to go to these countries and to have good studies, you need money. And normally the budget for that, from university, is not so big. Okay. And if your father and mother is not supporting you, so sorry.
Right.
So it's
okay. Maybe we have some questions from the hall. Yeah. Yeah, the gentleman and the second. Yeah, yes. I think we can skip the microphone. Do you have a strong voice? No. No, not really. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you. I have a question, and I believe this is a suggestion which will help to get our universities from 500 to 200 place. So the thing is that there is a Coursera.org. They have courses from like Stanford with the exact number of the course. So there's like a matching number. So if you take these courses, you can match like 40% of all courses in the Vilnius University and replace with these ones. You can have the same classes, which is in the Stanford. The biggest problem what students need to have is just a mentorship from the teacher. So instead of taking their own classes and using these books, which is like 976 years old, they can use the material from there. Well, there is, for example, in Vilnius University, the teacher using microprocessor architecture of the processor, which used it in 1987 years. While in Stanford has the same course called microprocessors architecture by the newest Intel processor. So you just need in the course description replace suggesting of using this teacher book with that course link in the Coursera, and then you need just to advise teacher to use that material. Then you at least can integrate these two things, and when the student finishes the university, you can like match, okay, this got a degree from the Vilnius University, but also these numbers matching these courses from the Stanford, so it's already gonna be easier for him, and then it's way easier to get recognized anywhere in the world. For example, if you go in Silicon Valley and you try to get a job, they're checking the numbers, like have you finished databases, object databases level 2, cryptography and all that. So that's, I believe this suggestion, if we would do it in Lithuania, replace these courses, it will give a big boost in the world ratings of universities. So what do you think, how to do it?
Okay, thank you. Anyone care to answer?
So, come to Vilnius Gediminas Technical University. We're using more innovative material, but I think this is a problem about quality. No, it's not. I think it is, and to just reverse all the situation, we need to reverse, to work on it. Just simple. If you want to do something, you need to do. So we are sitting here. We know the problem, like you are saying. So we're working on it, and somehow we will change, I think.
What about, because I'm also a huge fan of Coursera, and almost every time I have some course which I'm enrolling just for my own fun and education. But I think we will have an issue with the accreditation of the course. Is that right, Mr. Rozekis, about the Coursera courses or edX or whatever online platform?
Yes, it's accreditation courses. It's if it's formal education, it's needed by Lithuanian rules, by Lithuanian, how to say, documents, what was approved by parliament. It's very important. But if you look on for self-education or for some non-formal education, it's not need any accreditation. To the other hand, of course, as it mentioned by auditories, I think it's very important MOOCs as some internalization or knowledge. And I think, of course, as I am associate professor in Kaunas University, I am looking every time to MOOCs and and every time every day receive some ideas, courses, because I think all lecturing, all teacher needs to be in online courses. And I think it's professional development. And to the other hand, of course, our teacher is not so well in qualification, but we are going and we are on process, and I am not sure.
One more question from the hall. Yes, please, here. And this will be a final question because we are running out of the time and we need to summarize.
Hi. It was mentioned that some courses can't be taught online, like chemistry, physics, because you need labs. And as the virtual reality technology is coming, what do you think about virtualization of labs and probably auditoriums in the future?
Well,
Egle and Juan, this is both for you. So Juan, you
we
may
have
start.
a very strong background in virtual reality in our university, so I feel like jumping in the question. For those things you can see or you can interact easily, virtual reality can deliver. There's a problem about how much time you can be involved in a virtual reality experience, because after 15 or 30 minutes you are exhausted, and it's not easy to deliver 8 hours a day as you are in the classroom. But for less than 15 or 30 minutes, virtual reality with easy interactive can deliver. The point is when you need a strong feedback from the experience. In that, the haptics, which is those devices that delivers some other experience apart from the vision or the audio, like strength or touch, the haptics today are not at the level of development which you can have a fully integrated experience. You cannot follow your hands that much, you cannot feel the pressure, and there are things that you cannot deliver on virtual reality. But apart from that, this is only visual, audio, and easygoing interactive, and less than 30 minutes or 15 minutes, it will deliver greatly. It will be very costly to design. Very costly to design. But that's another thing.
Egle?
And also Lithuania is on all this consortium of about distance. We are planning to do that, and we are planning to do on 2018. Yeah, 18. After 3 years.
18.
18, sorry. So it should be prototype, and we are trying to do it in the best of all technology that we know. So it's coming. Danceworks.
Okay, we are almost running out of time, so Vladas, I saw you making a lot of notes and listening very closely to what people are saying. So your final remark on where will be with online learning? Where shall we go in the very near future, in 2, in 3, and 4 years for children who are just graduating the schools, or maybe finishing their first degree and wanted to go for masters? How do you see this evolution?
That's great disruptor and great opportunity, and I think young generation, they are doing very natural learning by online. And even what you mentioned about the pilots, actually future pilots will be educated online. They will work online as well, flying UAVs and even future passenger aircrafts being on the ground. So future is coming, and these people who are educated right now, they are creating our future in next 10 years. So let's do that with that opportunity to create with online real disruption. We troublemakers, like Kęstutis' comment just from the auditorium, and all of you can demand and help universities to change for the better, to make our education shorter, more effective, more like a fun, and to dedicate more of our time after educating, being able to apply the knowledge, skills, and then to be back in education. And that's all life learning, as you said. So be disruptors in our education area.
And I think there will be